is no longer an issue. Does the BBC...
What is this conversation? What the
I just don't really care to like collaborate with any other leftist ever again at this point.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at, because they come on the show, they build a name for themselves, and then they build a bigger name for themselves, trashing us as if they don't know who we are, as if they haven't worked with us, they don't know what our...
Oh my God. My uncle and his girlfriend were killed, I think 3 or 4 years ago by...
I mean, I would only just add that, you know, we have spoken to people who have been sacked that used to be in content moderation, and we've spoken to people very recently who were involved in moderation, and they just say there's not enough people to police this stuff, particularly around hate speech in the company. Is that
what hate
that
speech are you talking about? I mean, you use Twitter,
right?
Do you see a rise in hate speech?
I mean,
just a personal anecdote. Like, what do you? I don't.
Personally, my for you, I would see I get more of that kind of content. Yeah, personally, but I'm not going to talk to the rest of for the rest of Twitter.
You see more hate speech personally.
I would say I would see more hateful content in that.
Content you don't like or hateful. What do you mean to describe a hateful thing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, just content that will solicit a reaction, something that may include something that is slightly racist or slightly sexist, those kinds of things.
So you think if something is slightly sexist, it should be banned?
No,
is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying.
Well, I'm just curious. I'm trying to understand what you mean by hateful content, and I'm asking for specific examples.
How do you not know what hateful content is? Hateful content across most social media platforms these days is stuff that is racist. It's basically something that discriminates against usually protected classes. So racist, stuff that contains slurs, stuff that's attacking women, blatantly misogynistic, slightly misogynist. I don't know what the this guy on the right is talking about. I don't know why you would confront Elon on this and not have a clear definition of what hateful content is.
And you just said that if something is slightly sexist, that's hateful content. Does that mean that it should be banned?
Well, you've asked me whether my feed, whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples. Can you name one example?
I honestly don't use. Honestly, I don't.
You can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't actually use that for you feed anymore. Because I just don't particularly like it.
But you said
actually, a lot of people are quite similar. I only look at
hang on a second. You said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And
then how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
then I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet, and yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's false.
No, what I claimed...
You just lied.
What I claimed was there are many organizations that say that kind of information is on the rise. Now, whether it has on my feed or not... Give me one example. I mean, right, and
literally
if you look at something
one.
like the Strategic Dialogue Institute in the UK, they will say that. So
look, people will say all sorts of nonsense. I'm literally asking for a single example, and you can't name one.
Right, and as I've already said, I don't use that feed. But
then how would you know that?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Then how would you know there's hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on. We only have a certain amount of time. COVID misinformation. You changed the COVID misinformation.
Has
rules.
BBC changed its COVID misinformation?
The BBC does not set the rules on Twitter, so I'm asking you.
No, I'm talking about the BBC's misinformation about COVID.
I'm literally asking you about, you changed the labels, the COVID misinformation labels. There used to be a policy, and then it disappeared. Why do that?
Well, COVID is no longer an issue. Does the BBC...
What is this conversation? What the fuck?
Hold itself at all responsible for misinformation regarding masking and side effects of vaccinations, and not reporting on that at all? And what about the fact that the BBC was put under pressure by the British government to change its editorial policy? Are you aware of that?
This is not an interview about the BBC.
Oh, you thought it wasn't?
I see now why you've done Twitter Spaces. I am not a representative of the BBC's editorial policy. I want to make that clear. Let's talk about something else. If you want to talk about the BBC,
you too.
all right. Let's talk about something else.
You weren't expecting that.
Let's talk about something else.
Jesus Christ. Appears the latest mass shooter was, like the prior trans wannabe one, familiar with Vaush. Connor Sturgeon, same first name as Betts, was a BLM/Antifa/Vaushite type who here retweeted Vaush on January 6, calling poorly aged an earlier tweet by Charlie. Wait, really? Hold on. How will the Destiny Reddit spin this one? Well, I don't know if, like, familiar with Vaush, I don't know if this means anything. Like, you realize if somebody's familiar with Vaush, they were probably familiar with me too, right? Like...
Benjamin GL asks Anna a question. Anna, would you be willing to have a live stream with Vaush since you both politely disagree about a person with uterus language? Would love to see more of you two in general.
Is my mic on now? Okay. Polite means not calling the person you disagree with the R word, which is what I was called, even though I've been incredibly kind to him. I've been open-minded toward him, even though there are people trashing him and accusing him of terrible things online all day, every day.
Vaush said I guzzled.
But he didn't extend that same open-mindedness and kindness toward me, so the answer is no.
Okay, that's a good question, good answer. There you go. I guess he was cooked. People are getting cooked on the internet, from what I hear.
Please.
Okay. Okay. Hey, people on the left, you're supposed to be okay with disagreement. You're not supposed to be fascists who go around, you must have the correct opinion, otherwise you will be destroyed. Whatever is what I say to that. Okay. By the way, your opinion.
Bro, have you guys noticed that everybody is like eating themselves alive right now? Holy shit. All the political sides right now are like in turmoil. The progressive far left movement is like collapsing in on itself, between like the Young Turks falling out with everybody. A lot of the trans stuff has been like collapsing in on itself. You've obviously got the Democratic establishment that's kind of like fighting with the far left. And then on the right, you had like the whole Crowder Shapiro thing. You've got like Ali Alexander, Fuentes, and Milo feuding with each other. You've got, I feel like Matt Walsh is taking random shots at people. Holy shit, I feel like everybody's like fucking, I feel like everybody's, oh yeah, you've got all the DeSantis stuff going on right now with Trump. Oh my God. Didn't you say like 2 years ago the left would collapse and stuff? Yeah, but it just feels like everybody's going bonkers right now. What happened to Destiny's debate with Ali Alexander? He said he was too famous for me and didn't want to do it. And now he's busy fighting pedo allegations from Milo. Yeah, I have no idea. Oh, okay.
On why he's a hypocrite. Same thing happened when they tried to scam their fans with overpriced computers. He only changed when they exposed him. Then suddenly criticism.
Oh yeah, Margaret Taylor Greene fighting with Laura Loomer. Yeah.
Honest, I just don't really care to like collaborate with any other leftist ever again at this point.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at, because they come on the show, they build a name for themselves, and then they build a bigger name for themselves, trashing us as if they don't know who we are. As if they haven't worked with us, they don't know what our...
Oh my God. Oh, it's like 3 years ago. It's like 3 years ago in the Destiny arc. They're all getting there.
Actual political values are. So I don't, Jake, I never want to talk about them again. I never want to address them again. It's a waste of time. There's important stuff going on in the country. Our personal drama with a bunch of leftists on Twitter doesn't matter.
All right.
Holy true. There was a rapist that got, I think they got convicted, or they were on the way to the courthouse, and there was a dad that like waited outside or waited in the courthouse, and was it a mom? And he walked up and like shot the dude in the head to kill him because the guy like his kid or something, I think. Not good. You definitely shouldn't do it. but like, I can empathize. Why? I can empathize. Why? Was it this guy? Was an American man known for publicly killing Jeff Doucet, who kidnapped, raped, and molested Plauchet's prepubescent son. He got a 7-year suspended sentence with 5 years probation and 300 hours of community service to receive no prison time. I kind of talked about this yesterday. So here's like a weird thing that happens when you're online, okay? I can speak from a lot of experience now. People that do shitty things to you, that like disappear from your life, you kind of like, you forget about them. And if you engage with somebody in an incredibly negative way, it seems like you can do more long-term damage to yourself than any of those people, right? Like, I can't remember how many people over the past, 12 or 13 years have said, like, you're going to fall off, you're going to stop streaming, you're not going to be here, blah, 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 blah. Like, so many people that have come and gone and come and gone and come and gone and come and gone, right? And they didn't make it for whatever reason. But as you go on, like, it's not like I'm not sitting here actively remembering, like, I don't have like a kill list like Arya Stark, right? Where I'm thinking like, oh, like, that guy shit talked me and I wish I would have got him back, and I wish I could have got this dude back, and I wish I could have got like, because you forget about it as you go on, you know? But if you do something like crazy or like beyond the pale, or you go like really, 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 really hard on somebody, I think you run the risk of permanently f***ing yourself up, and then it's like, now you do remember, but it's because of the decision that you made rather than anything they did, you know? But there has to be one person that you still think about, right? No, not at all. And some people super trigger the fuck out of me. Now, of course, I haven't had anybody like my kid. But it's still, I mean, I would imagine like you deal with it and you move on. Like nothing undoes any of the damage that was done before. It's not like getting vengeance on the person. Like, thankfully, I'm finally, you know. That's different. If someone killed your kid, you'll probably never move on because your son is gone forever. People who shit talk to you mean nothing because you're successful. You lost nothing. So why'd you care? I'm just saying that I don't think the vengeance shit makes people feel any better ever. I guess not to shit talk anybody. I feel bad doing it. I love everybody, and I love my family. My uncle and his girlfriend were killed, I think 3 or 4 years ago, by some woman driving, like actually off the perk. Wait, fuck. This person was driving through an intersection and she killed, I think my uncle and his girlfriend died instantly. And my aunt, obviously, is super upset about this. And she has become like a shell of her former self, obsessing over this. And she flew to Omaha for the trial. She wanted to watch the person get convicted and blah, blah, blah. And I think the lady did get, I think she got a really big conviction, I think. What was her name? Oh, this one. Because she had like prior DUIs and everything too.
If you watch Alana on BBC.
Oh, she tested positive for PCP. Convicted on 2 counts of manslaughter. Sentenced to 15 to 20 years on each count to be conserved consecutively with 733 days for time. So what is that, 30 to 40 years? So she got a pretty big sentence for this, pretty big conviction. But my aunt doesn't feel any better. Like, she's still fucking miserable. She's still a shell of her former self. She still hates every day. Like, her little brother is killed in a car accident, right? She doesn't feel any better for it at all. It didn't help at all. Now, that's not to say maybe killing somebody would make you feel better. I don't know, maybe. But, like, I don't know. And maybe other people have different personal experiences. But, like, anecdotally, I've heard it a ton in movies and stories and nonfiction. People talk about it, that, like, revenge doesn't make you feel any better, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't seem like it helped her at all. So, I don't know. This was my mom's brother. My mom and mom's sister's brother, obviously. I think there are studies that say the death penalty doesn't improve victims' family. Yeah, maybe. So was it your cousin, not your uncle? No, it was my uncle. Do you not feel that USA is insanely soft on DUIs? Yeah, I don't know. I hear stories of people with like 5+ DUIs and shit. It seems pretty wild to me. Louis Rossman had the same feeling after beating up his bully.
Any of that. He did the same thing that he did in 8th grade and 7th grade, and he grabbed my shirt as hard as he could to go to push me up against a wall, and there was this little section where the wall had the brick and had this stone in between it, and it was sharper than all the other sections because the school was just fucked up. Like, all the tiles were yellow and orange. It was just messed, and he went to hit me. And something changed. This was the first time, like really the first time in my life that I figured out that I had a thigh muscle. Like, you know when you do this, I mean, if you work out and you work out your legs, like this muscle like just goes and sticks out. That was the first time I realized that was actually there and actually felt it. Because he went to do this, and usually by now I'd be boom up against the wall. And this time it was like I didn't move. And I looked at him. He's like, oh, and he hit a little harder, and nothing happened. And I was still a very, very slow person. I'm still not coordinated. I'm not athletic. But I go to grab his hand, and he stops it, and then I just push right through while he's blocking me and get to him. And now he's got this look in his eye, like, oh crap. And I'm thinking to myself, you have gained maybe 15 pounds since 8th grade. Oh boy. I had this. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I wasn't going to just push you out of the way or temporarily disable you so I can walk back to class. No, the hallway, the door, the stairwell to the basement was right in front of the gym. So I carried him a good 8 or 9 yards over, and I dragged this man by the arm and the shoulder. I had him by the armpit like this. I just dragged him, and as soon as I got to the end of that stairwell, I pushed the door open. I tossed him right down the stairs, and his ankle was clearly broken. It was twisted way, way out of where it's supposed to be, and there was blood. I don't know if it was around the mouth, nose, ear. I don't know. It was like somewhere around here at the bottom of the stairs. And he was moving like a little bit, but clearly very fucked up. And I felt like for 2 to 3 second 9 yard trip where he is trying as best as he can to get away from me, and nothing is working, and I am just dragging this person that used to be a brick. This brick that I hit as hard as I could, and he didn't move like that. And it felt like I wasn't even the same person anymore. It felt like I was dragging a birthday balloon down the hallway at this point. That was one of the top moments of my life. From age 0 to 17, that had to have been one of the most rewarding 3 seconds. And let me explain what happens in these moments. You may think that that's a great feeling, that's a great end to the story. I wish I could feel that way against the guy who's fucking with me. No, it's not, because it's like a pendulum. Let me explain how that works. So you go all the way, you get that high on revenge, you get that high on getting back at that person against not being vulnerable anymore. It swings all the way back over here. The feelings of misery and self-hatred and being disgusted at yourself and feeling manipulated and feeling like somebody else is allowed to change how you feel, and you feel cheap and you feel shitty and you feel like you just want to dig a hole and die. And there's a reason for that. It's because you let somebody else change your emotional state. So that revenge came out of the anger. The anger came out of him, which means he changed how I felt. He affected my actions, which means that even though he's lying there with a broken ankle and his face is bleeding and fucked up and he didn't screw me up and he didn't hit me up against the wall this time, even though I won, I felt like complete shit. I felt worse than I had felt in my entire life because I let somebody else affect my emotional state. And whether you're dealing with a customer who gets you irate to the point where you lose control, whether you're dealing with a girlfriend who gets to the point where you're screaming and acting in a way that you wouldn't.
I kind of followed Rossman up until he brought up the customer. Customers deserve to have their ankles broken. You know, he almost had me, but sorry, I think I lost him at that point. Customers.
I admit, I speed, okay? Sometimes I don't do things appropriately when it comes to traffic. I was thinking, how fucked is it that when you go and you look at my record of everything, it's all clean, and as a result of, I just hire one of those, I think I use Ticket Clinic or Ticket Titan, and just every time they'll hire an attorney, they'll go there, and then like you have nothing on your record as a result of it. And I was thinking, like, poor people kind of can't do that, you know, like either they have to just, and it seems actually
that's true.
Is that true?
It is. Yeah, it's quite.
Wait. I'm thinking, can poor people not do it? Because it usually is cheaper than the cost of the ticket to hire these guys, I think.
No.
If they get it expunged.
It depends on
right?
what you're talking. If you've got like a minor traffic infraction, like 50 miles per hour over the speed limit or less, it's going to cost you more for the lawyer than for the traffic ticket, right? You're not hiring a lawyer to fight like a $200 speeding ticket. Mm-hmm. But if you're getting like DUIs and shit, or if you've got willful reckless driving or shit like that, then yeah, it's probably
what? You just said something incorrect. I mean, I could be retarded, at least the way I've done it so far. But
what?
Every time I get a ticket for anything that's traffic related, it doesn't mean like, oh, this is a $400 ticket. It's like you got a $50 ticket for going 10 miles over, you know, just random shit. I'll fight all of them because my understanding is that those add points to your license and does rate your insurance bill over the cost. So it'll
add points to your record. In Nebraska, you get 12 points over a year, I think. Like, if you've got to be speeding quite a bit for your license to be threatened. Does it actually raise your insurance rates?
Yeah, it does. Like if you're a bad writer, I mean, bad driver, but I've every time I get any ticket, regardless, I'll dispute all of them, just because I don't want essentially anything on your record. And if you dispute it, I mean, I don't know how they beat it every time, because sometimes it's so fucking obvious that I was doing something wrong, but I guess the cops just don't fucking show up to court, and that's it. That's all it takes. Like, the cop doesn't show up to court.
Triple your premiums, even the first speeding ticket. There's no shot that is true. I got a lot of maybe
if it's like a really reckless driving thing that
maybe you're f***ing it up. The only thing that the worst insurance that I ever had was after my really bad Iowa speeding ticket. You had to get something called, am I making this up, SR22? Oh yeah, you have to get SR22 insurance, which I think is like, this is like you fucked up real bad and now you need like the big boy insurance to punish you or some shit. I don't even know. It's some absolute cuck shit. This was expensive. I think I had to carry this for a year. Fuck this.
What did you do to need that? Did you get a DUI?
No, I I was going 130 in a 55. Listen, Chris lived in a little shitty town called Malvern, Iowa, okay? I had my GTI. Those roads are straight and boring as fuck, okay? And I just tore along those roads, okay? And I made good time, all right? We had shit to do.
Mm-hmm.
That was the ticket where I didn't know, because the guy, when I got pulled over, I was like, I'm definitely going to jail, because it's just unbelievable. I can't believe. And he even acted like, oh, I clocked you going. I think he said he put it down. He was like, I think you were going like 134, but I'm going to put, or like 124. I'm going to make it 130 or 120. I was like, okay, thanks, I guess. I don't know if it matters much at that point. And then he wrote me, it was like a $600 or $500 speeding ticket. And I was like, okay, kind of sucks, but not that bad. I thought my life was over. I just got caught going so fast. But what I didn't know is after I paid the ticket, I send the money. It's like, okay, here, take my money, Iowa. I didn't know that was, when you paid that ticket and you pled guilty to that, it resulted in an automatic 1 or 2 year revocation of your driver's license. But I didn't find that out until after I was driving to Florida, and then I got pulled over in Missouri, and the guy was like, hey, your license is revoked. And I was like, oh shit. Rip.
Yeah, I did get arrested one time when I was younger. And I was driving on a suspended license with no insurance, no inspection. I thought I was such a fucking hot shit too, because I was driving, and this is what every fucking retard does, and it never works. But I was driving, and you see a cop going the other way, and you're like, ah, shit. And then you see the cop do a U-turn, and you're like, I'm fucked. So what is your only instinct? I fucking pulled in to a bank and got out like, oh, just me going on my business. Going to the bank, and the cop fucking pulls off like, and I'm like, oh, me? You want something from me? And then, of course, he fucking, he put me in the cruiser, and away we went, and that was it. I thought it would work too.
Wait, that was it? Oh, wait, did he write your ticket, or?
No, he took me to jail. I had to get bailed out.
Oh, jeez. Wait, what were you actually doing? Were you just speeding?
No, I was driving on a suspended license.
Oh,
I was a street racer. That's
no,
all
wait,
I got.
How did he pull you over?
Well, he didn't pull me over. I pulled myself over, and I tried to be like,
Why did he get it? You must have been doing something illegal. He doesn't mind. He didn't have ESP. And he was like, this guy's a suspended license.
I was in a 1985 Nissan 300ZX that had flames on the side of it, and I'm sure I also had hacked off my muffler, so my thing sounded like a fucking lawnmower because I was a retard. And I had one of those giant coffee can exhausts back then and everything else. And it was, I just listened at the time.
What did he pull you over for? Why did he stop the car?
Because my car at the time screamed, please, there's a fucking retard in here that's driving with a suspended license.
He can't pull you over for having flames on your car. That's not a good reason to pull somebody over.
It doesn't matter. They're just like, hey, retard, Like, that was enough. I don't know. My car wasn't inspected, but it doesn't matter.
What did he write you the ticket for?
Oh, fuck. I don't know if I got a ticket. I'm sure he pulled me over for something. Like, sir, your fucking tail light is out or something. I don't know.
Said he didn't pull you over. You said you went into a bank.
You're trying to fucking get me all mixed up here. Listen, I was driving, okay, and then I look, and you see a cop going past you the other way, and you're like, oh shit, and you're looking in your rearview mirror, and then you see him do a U-turn. So immediately, before the lights are on, before anything, I pull into a fucking bank, and I quickly park. I did the world's fastest park job of all fucking time, okay? Get out, shut my door, walking up like, oh, was there a cop there? I didn't even know. And then, of course, the cop pulls into the fucking parking lot, and he like fucking comes right up on me. And I'm like, oh, me?
Yeah, and then what did he say? Did he say, you, sir, show me your suspended license?
Yeah, I don't know. It was literally like 20 plus years ago, but it was something. I mean, I don't know. I was such a pussy. I was like, you got me. I don't know. I was probably like, God damn it. I was like a little rambunctious fucking rat and not a criminal at all at the point. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I have somewhere I have a fucking picture of my booking shot. It's I think I'll show it to you next time I see you. It's pretty funny. Yeah, that was just me being a little bit of a different Dan, if you will. Different time.
Jesus.
The cop was not also going to the bank. Like, I don't know all the fucking details. It was 20 years ago, but like, he knew. I don't know. Maybe he must have like, my shit was all fucked up. I had a smashed front right end from when I hit a a guardrail when it was icy out. I don't know. My shit was just fucked, bro. I was like, yeah.